I'm talking to Isabel, Courtney and Ethan. Thanks for coming along today, guys. So I know you haven't had a chance to read the report yet, but I'm just wondering, what do you think after hearing Tim Costello talk about the report and its findings?
I thought it was incredibly interesting listening to the idea of having a set value set of like working towards achieving the values of what we want as Australians and how we can work towards not necessarily just economic success but how a values-based success into sort of the future.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, one of his points that really stuck out for me was kind of addressing the fact that relationships are the key to communities and how community organisations interact with the broader community. I thought that was really interesting.
And what about you, Ethan?
I think it's actually really incredible. Like, besides what they were saying, I think it's actually the idea behind getting a bunch of not-for-profits together and putting forward these values that they all think are really important in Australian society when it comes to how we change and develop our society is really incredible. Full stop. I think that's a really incredible thing.
Yeah, awesome. Good answers. So what do you think it means, and it's good, I'll get an answer from each of you, I think that works well. Tell me, what do you think it means for young people?
What do you mean, the report?
Yeah, what particularly came out as young people? So I've talked to a few people now, but your perspective as young people is going to be different. What is, as a young person, what do you think that report particularly says for you?
Well, I think it's very important because the report is about working towards the future. Like, it's about working towards the sort of values and the ideas and the sort of goals for the future and what we can use to measure those sort of values and goals and the progress we're making towards them and where the progress needs to be pushed up a bit or where, we're really excelling. And so I think for young people who are, going to be living in that future, that's a really important thing. And, stuff like suicide rates, particularly youth suicide rates, are really important when looking at those numbers and lowering those numbers in sort of suicide rates across the country.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Isabel. It's what Oz wants and it's kind of the goals that we have set out and what we'd like to achieve within the community in Australia. And I think it was really interesting hearing the statistics on volunteering specifically, and I think it's definitely a good focus to kind of get young people more involved in volunteering and giving back to the community so that can, be a habit that goes on.
Great.
I think it's everything for young people. I mean, that is literally the structure in which we will, one day hopefully rise up and fulfil. I mean, that's what they're setting out when they have these values or these statistics or the structures that they're making as not-for-profit companies. They're literally creating a network and an indent that we can come along and fulfil in years to come. And that's literally everything for us when it comes to wanting to change society and wanting to change the world.
Yeah, absolutely. They're all good answers. So what do you think, does it give you any thoughts about what you think you can do both as individuals and as part of your involvement with the Youth Coalition?
Well, I think that feeling of community, particularly on a sort of communal level with young people, because a lot of young people feel like quite disconnected from political and community sort of situation. Like they feel quite isolated because, like, I know I was talking to young people about like arts and recreation and public spaces, and young people saying they don't feel all right being in public spaces, they don't feel welcome. And so I think building that idea of building that community with not only just a community of young people but a wider community including young people is very important. And I think Youth Coalition, in terms of getting young people involved in the community, really helps doing that.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. I think definitely being a young person and a volunteer, it gives you access to a part of the community that older volunteers may not be able to access. And definitely, youth do come into the whole picture of community.
Yep, great. Thanks.
I think going out leaving that, it kind of makes you feel safe when it comes to progressing forward in the future. I mean, I try as much as I can, and I know my mates try as much as they can to push forward and volunteer as much time as they possibly are able to. But it kind of makes you feel secure that if I were to raise an issue, if a mate of mine were to raise an issue, it wouldn't fall on deaf ears. I mean, it's really a real positive feeling to know that if I did raise an issue that that didn't get raised just then, it would fall on the ears of 60 well-experienced, well-networked, well-powerful people in Australia and across the nation, and potentially across the globe, and that's a pretty incredible and empowering thing to have as a young person.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome that the report has inspired that hope in you. That's good to hear from all of you. So I guess the next question, quick short one is, do you plan to stay involved with CCA in terms of taking the report further? And
Yeah, I think a lot of people need to hear about this sort of stuff. I think there's there's a sense of things, but seeing the actual sort of information presented there through CCA's report, I think that's an incredible thing that people definitely need to, see and show to people.
Yeah, I
Great.
definitely think for this report, this is only the start. Now we have all this information clear, and we can really start, working with that information and, getting to the source of problems in the community itself. So.
Yep, great.
Yeah, I feel as if it's my job, our job as young people in Australia, to take that report and then articulate it to other young people, and then explain to them what they can do to decrease the suicide rate, or decrease problems that we're having in health, or decrease. It's up to us to articulate and clearly place out a structure that other young people can step through when it comes to changing some of the statistics or changing what they want to change. So.
Awesome. Perfect. Okay, well, thanks very much, guys.